I'm David Ross.
And I'm Brenda Ross.
And we've been a part of First Baptist Church Broken Arrow for 33 years.
We really have enjoyed serving at First Baptist Church and want to be open to serve in a lot of different areas.
Our entire journey from the downtown location on Broadway to the Hilltop location represents an extremely meaningful time of our life. We had to depend on God to do what only God could do, but also we had to be obedient to do what God wanted us to do, and we just saw God be so faithful. And there was a series of mountaintop experiences through that 10-year journey that God was so faithful and ultimately led to our relocation and being the church that we are now, debt-free with all the buildings that we have.
Well, I think when you go through that process, all of the things we had seen God do, had prayed and asked for certain things, but God went far and above anything we could imagine for that. Just walking up to that property, we knew God was with us in that endeavor.
During our building campaign to build the current facility, worship center that we're in, we had our one last final push, and Brenda and I prayed about it, and we made a commitment, which for us was a stretch, and we were working towards fulfilling that commitment, and we had a home repair disaster that had to be taken care of, and it had a huge impact on our ability to meet the commitment that we had made for that building campaign. And shortly after the incident happened that required the construction or contractor expenses, I got a letter in the mail, and it was hand addressed, and I could tell it was my dad's writing. And to my knowledge, Dad had never written me a letter before. We had a great relationship, but he wasn't a letter writer, and neither was I. But I opened that letter up. It read, "Dear oldest son, this check is your part of the money that Daddy and Mama had saved over the years. They wanted to leave something for the children. I hope you can spend it wisely because it was hard earned." And the amount that check wasn't a huge amount by the world's standards, but it was enough to allow us to pay the contractor and fulfill the commitment that we had made. And it was just a great illustration of God being able to do immeasurably more than what we could ever ask or imagine.
Sometimes it's the journey of getting there that's such a blessing. Sometimes, it's not about the numbers, but sometimes it does start with just making a habit of it. And then we see the blessings that comes from that, not necessarily that He's blessing us, but we see what it does for others.
One of the things that really resonates with me about Greater Still is that it is more than a building campaign to renovate our current facilities. It's about us being the church that God wants us to be, and claiming that promise that God wants to provide for us immeasurably more than what we could ever ask or imagine.
We've seen it before, and we've seen what God does when we give our best, and we know He provided far and above what we expected, and so that causes us excitement, and we want to give in the best way we can.